Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. I'm playing review series videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there to try out food and drink items. Stuff I drink stuff, then folks. One more time. I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I gave it 3 snaps, folks. You saw me do it. One more for posterity. Let's see if we can get a good one. Nope, can't do it. I washed off too much of the grime and stuff after work. Anyway, folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering around about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I am wearing grody work clothes. Typically, when I'm inside the truck and I'm wearing grody work clothes, that means that I was on my way home from work and I found some shit to review for you. That is absolutely the case today. In fact, this particular item is so new, because it's a new item. It's so new, like I literally just heard about it yesterday or the day before at the time that I'm doing this review. This wasn't even on my radar yet. I figured, at least a few weeks or so before I finally ran into it. But, so what is it? What am I reviewing? What are we doing here? Well, folks, it's from Lay's. It's a new flavor. It's boom! It's their new, you can see it right there, I'm not lying. This is their new sweet and spicy honey potato chips. Which, yes, okay. And like I said, I just heard about these, like I said, maybe a couple days ago, at most. Because since I do these reviews, I'm always looking up stuff, and as a result, I get ads targeted towards me for all types of new stuff. And, I think just a couple days ago, I was reading a thing, they're like, Lay's has a new flavor coming out, and I was like, ooh, okay, cool. Happened to be at the gas station right by where I live, and I was like, shoot, man, let's do this. So we're going to go over there, let's get a thing. Oh, wait, I'm not going to get a thing for the thing. Why? Because, folks, yes, I am going to review this. Of course, that's the format of the show. But, what kind of simple bitch would I be if all I did was review a single bag of potato chips? No, folks, because this is also going to be a comparison video with Oots, whatever. Mike's Hot Honey Potato Chips. I've already reviewed these. There's an entire dedicated video towards it. When I saw that these were coming out, I was like, well, they're literally at the same gas station. I might as well make a thing of it. So I'm going to review these, and we're going to compare them. So, let's get the thing for the thing. This is going to be, sure. Let's start with the Lay's, get the review out of the way. All right. And as I always like to mention when I do chip reviews, here's the bag. All right, it's about the size of my head. I got a big head. Here's how many chips you actually get. It's just bullshit. We're paying for so much air, and the price keeps going up, and we get less and less chips. But anyway, now let's get a full chip. Potato chip. Let's try a thing. Ooh. I've got some flavor to it. Like immediately, like it wasn't subtle. You immediately got hit with that. Okay. Alright. I like it. Definitely like it. It's kind of my only potential gripe that I have with it so far is it feels almost a little bit too much just like sort of a honey barbecue chip. There is a little spice to it, to be fair. You get kind of a little kick at sort of the back of your throat. Alright, let's try it with a couple chips. Yeah. There's a little bit of a honey aspect to them. Like, there's definitely a little bit of a sweetness there. And obviously it's not going to be, like, overly prominent, But I don't know. Like, I like the level of flavor I'm getting. That I love. I think they nailed that. And the flavor itself is good. But I don't know. I kind of feel like they delivered a little bit more in certain areas than they did in others. Like the heat, for instance, there's a little spiciness to it. And I get it, they've got to be, it's a commercial item. Obviously, you're not going to go crazy with it. Plus, you don't want to completely override the other elements of the chip. But, I don't know. I was hoping for a little bit more heat. I was hoping for a little bit more sweetness, a little bit more distinguishment. That's not a word. Um, I was hoping for the honey to be a little bit more distinguished. I mean, it does what it says. It's got a sweet aspect. It's got a spicy aspect. And then, yeah, like I said, it's reminiscent of sort of like a honey barbecue chip, just with a little extra spice and a little extra sweetness. I like them. I think they're really tasty. But, I don't know. I'm kind of here or there. Again, I think the level of flavor is good. But I do feel like they could have brought a little something extra to this. But and now these are actually made with Mike's Hot Honey. That's the whole catch of these. So these, not Mike's Hot Honey. Let's see if Mike's makes the difference. I'm gonna have a little juice as a palate cleanser. It should be water, but whatever. I don't have any water on me. I don't think it will affect the results too much. Anyway, let's try out some Oots. I remember liking these, but it's been a little bit since I did the review. Oh yeah, by the way, bag, my head. It's not just a Lay's problem, unfortunately. It's the whole damn industry. It drives me nuts. Oh, but they have to have that so that the chips don't... No, fuck you. When I was a fucking kid, man, we got proper bags of chips. I'm not trying to be all old guy about this, but... Interesting. Very different. Like, even though they're both trying to kind of do the same thing, very different. The Lay's has a much bolder flavor to it. Like I said, it's an immediate punch in the face kind of chip, which I like. The Oots is much more subtle. But here's the thing. These don't taste like barbecue chips. The honey aspect, it's much more at the forefront. And it's got an okay heat to it, too. I would say, although it builds a little bit differently than the Lay's, it coats your mouth better than the Lay's does. Whereas the Lay's kind of just goes right to the back of your throat. The Oots kind of stirs around a little bit. Okay. This is interesting. This is why I like doing these videos. Because it's at a glance, it seems like it's going to be 1-to-1. But it's very evident that they're trying to do two different things here. With Oots, they were trying to highlight their association with Mike's Hot Honey. That's what they wanted to really feature and focus on. And as a result, the honey aspect is much more prominent. And again, I think that the heat is nicer too. I like the kind of radiating heat that it has. However, it is not as, again, just punch you in the face as the Lay's are. Whereas, again, with the Lay's, I like the level of flavor. They're kind of doing, it's sort of a thing where, each one of them is doing the thing that the other one isn't doing. They're, almost perfect contrasts. Yeah, man. I mean, in terms of the chips themselves, they're pretty much the same. This is going to be harder than I thought. All right, well, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to say it. I think that the Lay's are the tastier chip. I think that they, like I said, they just have a more striking flavor. I really do like that. And again, it's immediate. It just hits you. So there's a lot to be said for that. However, the Oots is definitely more unique. It is definitely working with the format that it's laid out better than the Lay's. Because again, the Lay's good, but it's almost a barbecue chip. These you can never mistake for being barbecue. They are a hot honey chip. Oh. Ah. These are tastier, but I think I prefer these overall. I think I'm going to give the win to the Oots. But I will say, I like, the thing is, it's like, if I want just like a spicy barbecue chip, those already exist. This is a good chip. And I mean, ultimately, two questions have to be asked. Even though it didn't win, and mind you, it didn't lose by a lot. Like, I could genuinely have gone either way. But two questions have to be asked in regards to this. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Yes and yes, in both instances. And I really do think that you could genuinely go with either of these, but I think it depends on what you want. If you want a hot honey chip, which ultimately is what I'm considering both these chips to be, I think the Oots does a better job of highlighting that than the Lay's does. The Lay's, however, I do think that probably more people would be inclined towards. It's Lay's. They know how to go over there and highlight that flavor and, again, make it, as appealing to as many people. And I think that's exactly what they did here. Point for point, I could get either of these at any point in time and be happy with them. It just depends on what I want. If I want a hot honey chip, I'm going with the Oots. But if I want just a really tasty flavor of Lay's, and I do appreciate what they're doing with these, yeah, that's the thing. So, I mean, you can call it a little bit of a cop-out, but I'm not saying I am ultimately giving Oots the win, but it really does it could be a flip of the coin. And I think ultimately it was just down to the specifics of what was being presented. I just think Oots did the better job of, again, just highlighting that. And for that matter, which of these would I recommend if I were recommending them? Probably the Lay's. Probably the Lay's. But I think that the Oots are still very good. And I think that, like I said, I think they do a really good job of focusing on the main feature of what it's supposed to be focused on. So, anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, spanish rest of your folks. Go over there, have yourselves a truly hot honey-tastic rest of your life, because apparently you just want to be hot and sweet. Don't we all? Final two things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do can't do all the time. I know I can't do all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating, just bullshit sometimes. And when we have to deal with those situations, it's important we go over there, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, are there any other hot honey chips out there that I should go over there and give a shot? I mean, like I said, I'm giving Oots the win, but that doesn't mean that there couldn't be other really good contenders out there. Lay's threw their hat in the ring. They put in an admirable effort, but there's got to be others for sure. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, please comment down below. I'd love to hear about it. And, hey, if you get the opportunity to try out the new Lay's and you want to do a comparison thing too, let me know. Do you share my opinion on it, or, do you think I'm a barely literate asshat? Which, by the way, I take offense to that. I'm very literate, okay? I can read like a motherfucker. The asshat thing, anyway, bye.